Kids love animated movies. But in some cases, the parents who are forced to bring their kids to the theater aren't so excited about a family-friendly film.
Oh no.
That's why most animated movies throw in a few jokes that are just for the adults. Oftentimes, they fit seamlessly into the story, so kids have no idea that the joke in question was a hidden double meaning. Disney has become somewhat notorious for this, going so far as to sneak in words or images into the animation that are totally inappropriate for kids. But we won't be talking about those sorts of secrets today. In this video, we'll be taking a look at moments that are right there in the text. Moments that you may have chuckled at when you were a kid, but they take on a whole new meaning now that you're grown up. You don't need a keen eye to spot these jokes, but you do need to have an adult sense of humor. If you like this list, don't forget to subscribe to Screen Rant and join the notification squad so you never miss a video. But before we start, can you guess this animated movie based solely on these emojis? I'll give you a hint. It does have its fair share of hidden adult jokes, but it's not an entry on our list in this video. Keep watching until the end to find out the answer.
Uh-oh, she put her hair up. We're in for it.
Inside Out. 2015's Inside Out is the award-winning Disney Pixar film that peers into the mind of a young girl to follow the personified emotions that influence her life. The film was directed and co-written by Pete Docter, who was inspired by his own daughter's experiences growing up. While the film may focus on family-friendly fun, some serious research went into writing the script. The writers consulted numerous psychologists and specialists in the field of neuropsychology, human emotion, and interpersonal relationships. But with all that said, this is still a PG Pixar film, so the heart of the story is the relatable characters and genuine moments of humor. However, some of that humor is aimed squarely at the parents in the audience. In one scene, Fear, true to his name, anxiously exclaims,
What was that? Was it a bear? It's a bear!
There were no bears in San Francisco.
I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear.
Now, kids may just think anger is poking fun at someone with an untamed fuzzy back, but adults in the audience are probably aware that he's actually referring to a particular subculture within the gay community. However, these characters do live inside the mind of a kid, so maybe Riley isn't so clueless after all.
Okay, can I just say something crazy?
I love crazy.
Frozen. Can you believe it's been almost 4 years since Frozen came out in theaters? In that time, this Academy Award-winning film has raked in over $1 billion at the box office. That's right, billion, with a big old B. It's actually the highest-grossing animated film of all time, and that's no surprise. With toe-tapping musical numbers, a strong cast, and a great story, Frozen is probably Disney's best film since its Renaissance era. So of course, in true Disney style, Frozen features its fair share of jokes that are just for the parents. This was a blink and you'll miss it joke that we're sure went right over the heads of any younger kids in the audience. In a scene where Kristoff and Anna are discussing Prince Hans, Anna is trying to convince Kristoff that she knows a lot about him. He asks her questions and she fires back with quick but ultimately evasive responses.
What's his favorite food?
Sandwiches.
Best friend's name?
Probably John.
Eye color.
Dreamy.
Foot size?
Foot size doesn't matter.
Have you had a meal with him yet?
And speaking of Frozen, the sequel to the hit film is set to hit theaters on November 27th, 2019. Why such a long wait? Well, Frozen is Disney's biggest franchise at the moment, so they want to take the time to get it right. But rest assured, things are already shaping up well. Kristen Bell is set to reprise her role and has said that the script for the new film exudes quality. We'll just have to wait and see if it will exude any more adult jokes.
Happy 30th anniversary? They're having a party without me.
Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is the critically acclaimed 2012 computer animated film starring comedians John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman. This video game-themed adventure follows a digital villain who tries to become a heroic good guy. In doing so, he finds himself jumping between different arcade universes and encountering all sorts of characters based on popular video game franchises. With a cast like this one, it's no surprise that a few adult jokes made their way into the final cut. Near the beginning of the film, Ralph is peeking in at the party being held for his game's 30th anniversary. When he sees that Pac-Man has been invited, he angrily exclaims,
That cherry-chasing dot muncher isn't even part of this game!
Now, we're not sure if we should explain exactly what a cherry-chasing dot muncher is, but we're sure you can come up with a few crude guesses. Besides, it just sounds dirty, doesn't it? This comic cast will reunite in 2018 for the film's sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet. With a title like that, maybe we'll get a not-so-subtle Kim Kardashian reference. The Emperor's New Groove. This slapstick comedy, which premiered in the year 2000, tracks the bratty teen Emperor Kuzco. After throwing a bit of a tantrum, which included throwing someone out of a window, his former advisor and would-be assassin gives him a potion that accidentally transforms him into a llama instead of killing him. With an unforgettable score and a unique art style, The Emperor's New Groove has become a bit of a cult hit after its poor initial performance at the box office. Despite that, the film is still responsible for a direct-to-video sequel and an animated TV spin-off. So, are there any adult references hiding in this perfect world? Well, in one scene, Kronk quite literally pinches a tent over his waist as he cozies up with his stuffed bear for a nap. This has got to be one of Disney's best visual puns, hands down. But it's not the only sly piece of humor in this film. In another scene, Yzma terrifies Kuzco and Pacha when she begins lifting up her dress. What does she show then? A dagger! We'll leave it up to you to figure out exactly what they were expecting to see. And did you know that The Emperor's New Groove was originally supposed to be a serious musical epic film in the same vein as The Lion King? The original title for the film was Kingdom of the Sun, before Disney executives decided to change the film into the comedy we know and love today.
In my day, we had plenty of fun just throwing rocks at each other. Big bag of dirt clods, that's what the kids want.
The Rugrats Movie. The blabbering babies of the Rugrats started off life as a long-running television series. In fact, it was the longest-running Nickelodeon cartoon for years before finally being eclipsed by SpongeBob SquarePants in 2012. Regardless, Rugrats ran for 9 seasons with over 170 episodes, and it even spawned a trilogy of feature films. The first in this franchise was 1998's The Rugrats Movie, which sees Tommy Pickles come up against his greatest adversary, an attention-stealing little brother. The film was a success for Paramount and Nickelodeon, with a laundry list of celebrity guest stars which included Whoopi Goldberg, Tim Curry, and even Busta Rhymes. Audiences are treated to a few asides from the other babies in the hospital. One pair are lying near each other and discussing how things have really changed since they left the womb. One baby laments,
"Man, they cut my cord."
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
The Rugrats series actually featured a lot of adult humor, but this circumcision joke is a cut above the rest.
Thank you all, thank you.
That wasn't flying, that was falling with style.
The Toy Story franchise. Toy Story has spawned 2 sequels and a number of spin-offs, with a 4th installment in the franchise set to be released in 2019. Directed by John Lasseter, the latest film will follow the toys on their quest to find Bo Peep. Thankfully, most of the original cast have already signed on to reprise their roles, so this is shaping up to be another great adventure for the classic franchise. So we think it's only fitting to look back on some of the questionable jokes and gags that have made their way into the first 3 films, starting with the 1995 original, when the gang meets the creepy Frankenstein toy creations made by Sid. They're understandably a little freaked out. But one of them, a toy with Barbie doll legs and a hook for a body, is a subtle reference to the working girls of the night. Get it? Lady legs? Hook? Well, this visual pun was hopefully lost on his younger viewers. These subtle jokes worked their way into Toy Story 2 and 3 as well. In the scene where Buzz first sees Cowgirl Jessie in Toy Story 2, his wings abruptly shoot out as he stares at her with his jaw on the floor. And in Toy Story 3, the writers push the boundaries of the family-friendly comedy when Barbie compliments Ken on his nice ascot.
Nice ascot.
Come on, Ken. Recess don't last forever.
Which may mean a nice tie, but we know there's some sly humor going on there.
Nice work! Excelente!
Is Wonder Boy here for real?
Hercules. This joke from 1997's Hercules is a little more subtle and is more of an adult joke because kids probably hadn't learned about this specific reference yet in English class. When Hercules and Meg go out on a date, the two decide to keep things very refined and go out on a sensible date to the theater. It turns out the play they saw was Oedipus Rex, an Athenian tragedy written by Sophocles sometime around 429 BC. In the play, Oedipus becomes king by unknowingly killing his father and marrying his mother. He spends his life trying to avenge his father's death, only to find out he was the one who did it. Upon discovering the gruesome truth, Oedipus blinds himself. If you didn't know the plot of this Greek classic, you might not have known what Hercules meant when he told Meg,
That play, that Oedipus thing? Man, I thought I had problems.
It's true, we don't think the plot of Hercules quite compares when it comes to true, gut-wrenching tragedy. But the strangest thing about this joke is that it means Hercules and Meg sat through a pretty disturbing piece of theater for a romantic date night.
Anyone can cook.
Well, yeah, anyone can. That doesn't mean that anyone should.
Ratatouille. This rodent-infested family comedy was written and directed by Hollywood heavyweight Brad Bird, the man behind 1999's The Iron Giant, 2004's The Incredibles, and even 2011's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Ratatouille follows would-be chef Remy, voiced by the Emmy Award-winning Patton Oswalt, whose greatest roadblock to achieving his dream is that health inspectors won't let him anywhere near a kitchen. This film was a challenge for the animators, who attended cooking classes in order to research the material and create animated food that looked as good as the real thing. For the film's signature dish, renowned chef Thomas Keller created his own version of ratatouille, which was used as a reference for the animation. We managed to find a couple adult jokes in this Pixar classic. The first comes from food critic Anton Ego when he's evaluating Chef Linguini's food. He very confidently explains,
"If I don't love it, I don't swallow."
But that's not the only off-color joke in this delectable tale. In another scene, Linguini is trying to explain to his romantic interest, Colette, that he has a rodent genius hidden under his hat. But as he stammers to get the words out, he nervously trails off, saying,
I have this tiny, little...
In a blink and you'll miss it moment, Colette sharply glances down at Linguini's pants, wondering with her eyes as to what exactly he's referring to.
This is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Shrek. Shrek is the 2001 animated classic led by comedian Mike Myers and featuring a stellar cast that includes Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and John Lithgow. This comedic fairy tale about a surly ogre became a huge franchise for DreamWorks, spawning 3 sequels, 2 holiday specials, a spin-off film, numerous short films, and even a Broadway musical. Hopefully, you still haven't had enough of the multi-layered character because a 5th feature film is set to be released in 2019. Boy, do I love onions. Perhaps the best adult joke in the original film comes when Shrek and Donkey first approach Lord Farquaad's kingdom. Upon first seeing the enormous structure, Shrek remarks,
"Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?"
As a kid, you probably thought this simply referred to his small stature. Farquaad is, after all, comically short. But adults know there's more to the joke than the leader's shrunken spine. It's a common turn of phrase when referring to a man's shiny new sports car, a lavish mansion, or, a big golden statue of himself. He must feel inadequate, as if he doesn't measure up in other ways. The writers were pretty brazen with Shrek. I mean, just think about Lord Farquaad's name. Sound it out really slowly. Bet you didn't realize that one as a kid.
Mater? Yeah, like Mater, but without the
Cars. Disney Pixar's Cars is a young speed freak's dream. This 2006 computer-animated comedy follows rookie racer Lightning McQueen as he hopes to overtake veterans Chick Hicks and the King to become the Piston Cup champion. True to its namesake, the film had its premiere screening at the Charlotte Manor Speedway in North Carolina. Despite being a post-Renaissance Disney film, Cars has all the makings of a true classic. A heartwarming story, great voice acting, and music by the legendary Randy Newman. But as we've already learned throughout this video, there's something else that every Disney classic must include. A few jokes that are just for daddy. There are a number of these in Cars. But the best one comes at the end of the first race in the film. Twins, Mia and Tia, storm through the crowd to flash their headlights at the charming McQueen. That's right, they may be anthropomorphic automobiles, but Mia and Tia are literally flashing our hero. In fact, the expression flashing your headlights would be a well-known euphemism to racing fans. We won't have to wait much longer to see what the writers have in store for Cars 3, which comes out in theaters this summer on June 16th. Well, that about does it for our list. Next time you drag your kids to the theater, watch out for a joke or two aimed in your direction. We want to know, what was your favorite joke on this list? Did we miss any jokes from your favorite animated film? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this film, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to Screen Rant for more great content like this one. And in case you're curious, the answer to our emoji trivia question is 101 Dalmatians. This movie features its own bit of adult humor when Roger asks Pongo where all the puppies came from, only to realize Pongo was the one responsible. You dog, you.